What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Blue Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including one of the worst botches in WWE history. Huge backlash against Nia Jax as fans are furious with her. Did WWE make a huge change due to the botch? Another WWE star is now in the new Knockouts champion. Brock Lesnar off TV until 2026. Drew McIntyre has a new film role. Vince McMahon's bizarre gift to friends, and much more. As always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, yeah, and the downright ugly. Start off with the good is number one, the Cody Vision confrontation. A crown jewel is coming soon, and Cody Rhodes knows the deck will be stacked against him when he faces Seth Rollins. Thus, it made sense for Cody to stir the pot when Paul Heyman appeared. Being the ring-savvy veteran that he is, the American Nightmare sowed the seeds of dissension, reminding Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed that Paul Heyman is only interested in one person, that being himself. While that didn't stop the Vision from laying out Cody, you know he's going to keep reminding them until they start to think for themselves. The last thing Paul Heyman wants, Soul Rucker and Zarya step up. Now we'll skip pointing out how bad WWE Women's Tag Division is and address what is hopefully the start of a new program between the team of Soul Rucker and Zarya and the Women's Tag Champions, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. The main roster is sorely lacking incredible challenges for the women's tag titles, and adding Soul and Zarya, two NXT's brightest superstars, is finally a good idea. Drew versus Jacob Fatu instant Armageddon. Now, Jacob Fatu's return to television was splendidly spun as a smoke and werewolf confronted Drew McIntyre, while McIntyre was lamenting how WWE sandbagged his latest title win due to lousy officiating. The segment really was one of the best of the night, giving fans a peek at what could be one of Drew's most violent battles yet. Jacob Fatu needs a strong opponent, and thankfully WWE seems to have put his feudal feud with Solar Sikoa behind him, as that was really dragging. But it's not just Jacob who needs a strong opponent. So does Drew McIntyre, who for whatever reason got shortchanged against Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, a program that should have gone on much longer. Watching Jacob Fatu beat Drew with his own orthopedic boot was hilarious, and fans have to wonder whether Drew will start wearing a loaded boot to make the Claymore even more destructive. Sami versus Javon Evans elevated the U.S. title. The last year was bad for the United States Championship, but Sami Zayn's revived open challenge has quickly turned the title back into something special. Zayn's match against NXT's Javon Evans was fantastic, and it added some excitement too, showing that anyone can show up to challenge for the title. If Sami can keep this up, fans won't have to wonder where the title is, as they did when Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight defended it on what seemed like a quarterly basis. But that was the good. What about the bad is number one, a meaningless Miz Mello match. And what's driving the Miz-Carlo Hayes tag team angle? Did WWE see how well the Grayson Waller-Austin Theory slow burn went and decided to see if lightning could strike twice? Now obviously we're being sarcastic, but fans must be wondering why WWE continues to waste television time on a program fans saw earlier in the year, and one that's bound to do nothing for The Miz or Carmelo Hayes. In fact, right now The Miz crying about not getting a match with John Cena seems better. Everything wrong with the women's division, and last night's match involving Mish and Bab against Julia and Kiana James is further proof of how no one seems to care about the SmackDown's women's division. WWE has done nothing to get fans behind Michonne or B-Fab, who've so much that it's hard to believe things are even going to change. Worse is the lack of credible opponents for Julia, whose WWE career now pales in comparison to Stephanie Vakir, and subsequently makes her and the Women's United States Championship booking look a weak. WWE's women's roster needs a serious overhaul, but unless creative is willing to spend time building new stars, it doesn't matter how many women it has on the roster. If WWE can't get Julie over, it's game over. Paul Heyman seemingly mocking the Janelle Grant lawsuit. SmackDown has had some awful moments, including the segment where Paul Heyman told fans that maybe we should talk about the conspiracy theories and rumors surrounding Brock Lesnar. Many believe that this was Heyman alluding to Brock's apparent new alliance with his former manager, but others believe Heyman took a veiled shot of the Janelle Grant lawsuit against Vince McMahon in WWE, a lawsuit where Lesnar's name was mentioned in the complaint, but Lesnar was not named as a party. Now, even though Lesnar was not named as a party, some reports suggested that Lesnar's 2-year absence from WWE was due to legal concerns over the alleged controversy surrounding him. Whether or not that's the case, having Paul Heyman take a shot at the lawsuit seemed imprudent and could come back to bite WWE should Janelle Grant's case make it to trial and she were to prevail. This is not cinema. Now, some WWE WWE enthusiasts like to praise WWE's better storytelling moments by saying, "This is cinema," every time they see something on WWE television. But unfortunately, the current slow burn involving Randy Orton turning on Cody Rhodes is only cinematic in the sense of having to sit through a 4-hour movie before you get to any payoff. Once again, Randy Orton was caught looking at the championship, and this has been done time and time again. At this point, WWE just needs to go with it or just drop it. As the WWE Universe has seen, these slow builds can backfire with fans losing interest or one of the wrestlers getting injured when it's time to pull that trigger. SmackDown is sinking, and how much worse will SmackDown get before WWE steps in to right the ship? It wasn't that long ago that the blue brand was consistently better than the red brand. That has been the case in months, and it's almost like WWE just doesn't care. They're content in producing weak shows with little storyline development, matches devoid of storylines, and fans wondering what else is on. But that was the good, the bad. What about the downright ugly as one of the worst botches in WWE? And the WWE has a lot of problems right now. A deadly dull product where creative is afraid to take risks. Management that can't see that its ever-increasing ticket price will ultimately come to haunt them. A wrestler whose sloppy style caught up with a, or better, said an unfortunate opponent. Jax's incredibly sloppy move on SmackDown, where she threw Jake Cargill into the steel steps, appears to have been the main reason why Cargill's face was busted open the hard way. Nia Jax brings a monster heel vibe to the ring, but her apparent sloppiness in the ring and the damage she's inadvertently done to opponents has reached a boiling point with fans. The women's division has enough injuries already, and WWE surely doesn't need any more from sloppy in-ring work. And of course, the match. The match ending was a complete car wreck with total miscommunication, leading to a huge stinker as the referee botched the pinfall attempt. And we'll break down what was supposed to happen in the news. What did you guys think of the blue brand last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Nia Jax Backlash. Nia. At top of today's news is the latest controversy concerning Nia Jax with some fans calling for Jax's dismissal from WWE. The fans' fury arose following what some believe was a poorly executed move to Jade Cargill getting busted open for real. First, let's look at what happened. Jade Cargill and Nia Jax challenged WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton for the title on SmackDown, with WWE playing on the kayfabe heat between Cargill and Jax. At one point during the match, Jax threw Cargill into the ring steps, and before long it was clear that Cargill had been busted open with a nasty gash above her eye. Just what happens remains unknown. But Cargill was busted open with medical officials placing a towel on her head and helping her to the back after the match. Currently, there's no update on Jade's condition, but we're sending our best to Jade, and we'll let you know of an update as soon as possible. Next up, fans furious with Nia Jax, and Nia Jax's alleged mishap has led to some fans demanding WWE release her. And some are also calling for Jade Cargill to be given further training, mentioning, "Fire Nia Jax and send Jade Cargill back to training again, but don't fire her. Thanks." One fan even accused Jax of intentionally hurting Cargill, saying, "Nia Jax did this on purpose to Jade. No wrestler is to finish an Irish whip or push that close to an obstacle full force because it gives your opponent no time to react to defend themselves." She then laughed about it. How disgusting. Heal up soon, Jade. Now you can be sure this controversy is just beginning, but title match marred by mishaps. In addition to what some fans are calling a blown spot by Jax, the match also featured one of the most awkward endings to a match on SmackDown, where Tiffany Stratton pinned Nia Jax, and it seemed apparent that Jax failed to raise her shoulder in time, leading to the referee stopping her 3-count, even though Jax's shoulders were obviously down. However, the blame should fall on Tiffany Stratton, as after Jade Cargill delivered the eye storm, Tiffany was clearly supposed to break up the pin, but she got there way too late. An audible was then caused for Tiffany to then pin Nia Jax to win the match. However, it was obvious that there was total miscommunication between the two, as well as the referee. The referee was thinking that she only had to count to 2, but this was supposed to be for 3, as Tiffy's botch spot caused everything to change, as Botch has led to calls to discipline the referee and/or Jax. However, the situation is more complicated than that. Now, obviously, mistakes can happen at any point during a match, and communication between the wrestlers was vital in this moment. Veteran referee Charles Robinson once discussed this very situation during an interview with Chris Van Vliet, pointing out the trickiness of these situations, noting the matches aren't shoots, and sometimes wrestlers forget to kick out. WWE should really bring back the rule that referees must count to 3 if a wrestler doesn't kick out. It would have made the botch much less obvious. Next up, a WWE star new Knockouts champion crowned at Victory Road. A TNA's Victory Road event saw a new Knockouts champion being crowned following the shocking announcement by champion Ash by Elegance that she's no longer medically cleared to compete and had to relinquish her title. Ash thanked the fans for their support, and TNA wasted no time crowning a new champion, booking a battle royal to determine the 2 contenders for the vacant title. In the end, Kalani Jordan and Li Ying Li were the 2 last competitors in the battle royal, with Jordan defeating Li in the finals to become the new champion. But the original Knockouts match was surrounded in controversy, with Diva Ava reporting. Prior to Victory Road taking place, the original TNA Knockouts World title match was removed from the card amid an internal investigation from a real-life abuse allegations against Marsha Slamovich. Her match against Ash by Elegance was canceled. Next up, the WrestleMania date in Indianapolis remains unknown. When is WWE bringing WrestleMania to Indianapolis? You may recall Indianapolis officially signed a deal in 2024 to host the Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. However, with Vegas getting the Mania in 2026 and Saudi in 2027, Fightful Select recently reported that Indianapolis officials are in the dark as to when they'll get to host Mania. It's possible that this could be delayed until 2028. Next up is Brock Lesnar off TV until 2026? Now, was Brock off for the rest of the year? Well, let's look at 2 reports concerning the Beast and when fans can expect him back. Fast WrestleVotes is reporting that Lesnar is expected to compete at 2026's Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. However, Fightful Select reports Lesnar is expected to be off TV for a while, but just how long a while is anyone's guess. And some fans believe that Brock will compete at Survivor Series in a War Games match. Next up, Drew McIntyre's latest film role revealed. It was exciting news for Drew McIntyre, as entertainment site Deadline reports that the Scottish Warrior has been cast in the remake of the classic film Highlander. Drew will play the protagonist Connor McLeod's cousin, Angus McLeod. The film stars Henry Cavill as Connor and Dave Bautista as the film's villain, the Kieran. Congrats to Drew on this latest role, and shooting is believed to begin early next year.